The HOA president said, "We're fining you $500 for harassment." Then I rolled my toolbox into the garage and flipped on the camera feed. I didn't argue. I just smiled and said, "Perfect." When the bylaws woke up, the fines started pointing the other way. My name's Mark Dalton, 31, systems engineer, quiet type. I bought my first townhome 3 years ago. Nice street, clean lawns, strict HOA. Thought I was joining a community. Turns out it was a cult with paperwork. Across the driveway lived my ex, Alyssa, and her mom, Carol. We dated for about a year. I helped them with stuff, new router, TV mounting, some handyman fixes. When we broke up, I left it civil. No yelling, no blocking. Just done. Except she still had my streaming accounts, my spare garage key, and, apparently, a grudge. First sign of trouble came with a letter taped to my door. Notice of HOA violation, improper surveillance. It said one of my outdoor cameras faced her windows, making her feel unsafe. I checked the footage. The angle showed nothing but my own driveway and mailbox. Classic deflection. That weekend, the HOA president, Paul, knocked. Polo shirt, clipboard, fake smile. "Morning, Mark. We've received multiple complaints about you recording residents without consent." I opened the garage, pointed at the camera mounted above my door. "That? It's legal. Faces my property only." He shifted his weight. "Still, perception matters. Maybe take it down to keep the peace?" "Nope," I said flatly. "Peace starts with honesty, not rewriting angles." He didn't like that. 2 days later, an email arrived. Formal fine. $500 for harassment. Continued surveillance after warning. I didn't pay. Instead, I printed the HOA bylaws, 43 pages, and read every word with a highlighter. Then I started documenting everything. Every letter, every conversation, every minute of video. A week later, Alyssa and her mom stood on their porch talking loudly about how creepy I was. I was in my driveway washing my car. "We should call the cops again," Carol said, not even pretending to whisper. I looked up. "Carol, you're trespassing my patience, not my property. Stay on your side." She smirked. "You like filming women, right? Maybe get this on tape too." "Already did," I said, turning the hose on low and rinsing the soap from the hood. The camera above caught her face twisting. By that evening, I'd saved the clip, timestamped it, and emailed it to myself and a cloud backup. I wasn't planning revenge yet, just collecting gravity. Next HOA meeting, I showed up with a binder labeled documentation, Dalton Property 17B. Paul looked annoyed the second I walked in. "This is a community meeting, not a court hearing," he said. "Then you'll love how short I'll be." I placed the binder on the table. "Before you find me again, read page 2, State Statute 42B, subsection 12. Cameras on private property are permitted for security use if they don't record common areas." He flipped a page, frowned. "Where'd you get this?" "County website," I said. "It's public, like your meeting minutes by law." Carol raised her hand from the back. "He's intimidating us. We can't even leave the house without being watched." I gestured to the screen on my phone. "Funny, here's footage from yesterday. Shows you and Alyssa standing in my driveway yelling at me." Gasps around the room. Paul cleared his throat. "We'll review this, Mark." "You'll do more than that," I said calmly. "You'll follow your own transparency rules. Starting today, I want full access to HOA financials, maintenance contracts, and complaint logs per Article 10. He blinked. "Why would you?" "Because I pay dues," I interrupted. "And I want to see where they go." 2 neighbors nodded slowly. That was my first real win. When I got home, I brewed coffee and opened my laptop. The HOA's bank statements arrived by email a week later. He probably thought I wouldn't notice the irregularities. But the expenses told a story. A $4,200 payment to Greenscape Services. Same day as a $4,100 withdrawal labeled miscellaneous landscaping. Vendor overlap, no receipts attached. I cross-checked names. Greenscape's listed owner? Paul's brother-in-law. Perfect. I spent the next 3 nights building a spreadsheet. Every questionable expense, every fine issued without vote, every instance where they ignored notice requirements. It was beautiful, numbers arranged like dominoes. By the 4th night, I'd started printing. Friday afternoon, while mowing the lawn, Alyssa strolled over. Tight smile. Mark, can we talk like adults? I cut the engine. Depends what adult topic we're talking about. You don't have to make this worse, she said softly. Mom's stressed. She just wants peace. Tell her to stop filing fake reports. She's not. Video says otherwise, I said, pointing to the mounted camera. I'm done arguing. Let the paper handle it. She huffed, turned, and walked off muttering something about control freak. I didn't answer. That night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Dalton? This is Officer Keene from Community Policing. We got another complaint from 19A. Mind if we talk? Sure, I said. Bring a flash drive. He came over 20 minutes later. I showed him the footage of Carol stepping into my yard, yelling at me. He watched silently, then nodded. All right, this helps a lot. You're good. Mind leaving a copy of the report? I asked. He smiled. Already sent to dispatch. Have a good night. The next morning, Paul emailed me again. Another meeting to discuss escalating tension. I replied with 2 attachments. The police report and a legal citation from state law on HOA retaliation. I ended it with, see you at the annual audit. He didn't answer. 2 weeks later, the HOA's annual audit meeting came. Folding chairs in the clubhouse, coffee urn on a table, about 20 homeowners looking bored. I arrived early, dropped my binder on the table, and sat by the projector. Paul looked nervous. All right, everyone, let's start. First item, security concerns. Actually, I interrupted. Before that, transparency. He frowned. This isn't your presentation. It is now. I plugged in a flash drive. A spreadsheet appeared on the projector. Columns of payments, vendor names, and totals. You'll see these are all HOA expenses, I said evenly. Cross-checked against state filing requirements. Half lack receipts. 3 companies share the same mailing address, Paul's brother-in-law's landscaping firm. Murmurs filled the room. A woman named Dana raised her hand. Is that true, Paul? He stammered. Well, we've used family businesses before, it's common practice. Not without a vote, it's not, I said. Article 8 requires bids from 3 vendors. None exist. Carol jumped in from the back. He's twisting everything. He's doing this because my daughter broke up with him. I faced her calmly. No, Carol. I'm doing this because you lied in official complaints. That's a violation of state statute. Page 12. I pointed to the screen. A clause about false reporting glowed under highlight. Alyssa wasn't there, but the silence from her mom's seat said enough. Paul tried to recover. We can schedule a review. Already did, I said. County auditor next Tuesday, 9 a.m. They'll want your invoices ready. You could feel the oxygen leave the room. After the meeting, Dana caught me in the parking lot. That was brutal, she said quietly, but needed. I'm not here to burn it down, I told her. Just clean it up. She nodded. You've got votes. People are tired of Paul's favoritism. That night, I sat at my kitchen counter, opened a beer, and watched the camera feed on mute. Carol pacing her porch, phone to her ear. She gestured angrily toward my house. Then she pointed at the camera and flipped it off. Thanks, I muttered, clicking save. The audit came faster than expected. County officials in suits showed up, pulled files, asked quiet questions. By noon, they'd found misfiled receipts and missing tax forms. Paul's confident tone cracked by the hour. At 3:17 p.m. he walked past my driveway, didn't look at me. That night, a new email arrived from the HOA board. Special election next month to fill vacant president position. Vacant, as in Paul resigned. I didn't celebrate. I just replaced the toner in my printer. 2 days later, Carol called the cops again. Said I aimed cameras at her window intentionally. The same officer, Keene, showed up. He sighed as soon as he saw me. Mark, just the same spots? Exactly. I handed him a USB stick. Footage from last night. He checked his body cam. I'll file it. You're fine again. Carol screamed from her porch. He's manipulating you. Keene looked up at her. Ma'am, you're trespassing on his driveway line. Please step back. That was the moment the power flipped. Next board meeting, Dana was interim president. She opened with a firm voice. We're rescinding the harassment fine against Mr. Dalton. Evidence shows it was baseless. Carol stood, pointing at me. You're all letting a predator run free. Dana's expression hardened. Mrs. Thompson, one more outburst and you'll be escorted out. You could have heard a pin drop. After the meeting, Dana shook my hand. You kept it professional. I appreciate that. I'm just following the rules, I said. Funny, she smiled. So am I. The following week, the HOA inbox flooded with homeowner complaints about misused funds, favoritism, even Carol's constant disturbances. Dana asked me to help organize the data because, as she put it, you actually understand structure. I agreed on one condition. Everything stays documented and public. We built a shared drive. I uploaded every invoice, every policy, every recorded vote. By Friday, half the community had access. Transparency spread faster than gossip. Alyssa finally texted me from an unknown number. You're really proud of yourself? You humiliated my mom. I typed, contacting me violates the HOA harassment clause. Please go through board email. Then I hit send. She replied instantly, You're a robot, Mark. You always were. I muted the number and added the screenshot to my folder. That night, a new fine showed up in my inbox. This time noise violation 11:40 p.m. Lawn equipment. I checked my security footage. I was asleep by 10. The only sound was Carol's dog barking nonstop. I printed the report, attached the video and sent it back to the board. False claim. Evidence attached. Dana responded 10 minutes later. Acknowledged. Fine canceled. Clean. Simple. No speeches. A week later, HOA's quarterly vote arrived. 3 seats open. Carol tried running for one. I quietly supported Dana and 2 reasonable neighbors, Eli and Rena. We made flyers, mailed summaries of the audit findings, and reminded everyone of the mismanagement. Voting day, the turnout was record high. Carol lost with 4 votes total, hers, Alyssa's, and 2 friends. Dana's team swept the board. After the announcement, Carol stormed out, shouting that it was a conspiracy led by her stalker. Eli whispered to me, She's unhinged. Just predictable, I said. Next morning, Carol's property got a notice. Unauthorized modifications. Unapproved garden structure. Her backyard pergola violated height restrictions. I didn't report it. Someone else did. The community had started defending itself. Later that month, Dana emailed me again. Mark, thanks for setting the tone. People feel safe speaking up now. Glad to hear it, I replied. Peace through paperwork. A few nights later, while checking footage, I saw Alyssa sneaking into my driveway at 2 a.m. She bent down near my car tire, something shiny in her hand. Then she noticed the red camera light, froze and ran. Next morning, I found a nail halfway lodged in my rear tire. I didn't touch it, called the cops instead. Officer Keene arrived again, looked tired. Same person, same family, I said. He watched the footage, whistled. All right, we'll handle it. He came back 2 days later with an update. Alyssa admitted it, said she was angry. We're filing a warning this time, but if it happens again, it's criminal mischief. I nodded. That's enough. For a while, things went quiet. 2 months later, the HOA held a community barbecue. The first one since everything blew up. I showed up with a cooler of sodas, nothing fancy. People nodded, smiled, even thanked me. Dana clinked her cup against mine. You rebuilt this place, you know? I just enforced rules already there, I said. She laughed. That's what leadership is sometimes. Across the lawn, Carol sat alone, glaring. Alyssa wasn't there. Moved out last week, rumor said, after her mom couldn't handle the new fines. Later that night, as I packed up my cooler, Carol approached. You think you won? She said quietly. I didn't play, I replied. You ruined our reputation. You did that yourself, I said. All I did was hit record. She turned to leave, then stopped. You're just like your cameras. Always watching, never living. I smiled faintly. And you're always performing. Problem is, now there's an audience that cares about the truth. She walked off without another word. By autumn, the HOA ran like clockwork. Dues down, maintenance actually happening, no more shady invoices. Dana asked me to run for treasurer. I said no, I'd had enough governance for a lifetime. Instead, I rebuilt my garage workshop, fixed up my bike, planted herbs. The cameras stayed up, silent witnesses to peace finally earned. Sometimes I catch myself reviewing old footage. The night she yelled across the lawn, the meeting where Paul's voice cracked. I don't feel pride, just clarity. In a community obsessed with appearances, the truth became my quiet revenge. No shouting, no lawsuits, no rage. Just records. That's all it took to make the liars find themselves.